Please stand and remain standing for the presentation of the colors.
Mark time. March. Color guard. Hold. Left. Face. Colors. Ready. Up. Ready. Seat.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Good afternoon. On behalf of Lieutenant General M.R.J. Jones, 4th Commanding General, United States Army, Installation Management Command, and Command Sergeant Major Jason P. Copeland, welcome to the Installation Management Command Readiness Assumption of Responsibility Ceremony. This afternoon, Mr. Patrick Appleman assumes responsibility for the United States Army Installation Management Command Directorate Readiness. The reviewing official for the ceremony today is Lieutenant General Jones, Commanding General, United States Army Installation Management Command. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guests attending today's ceremony include Lieutenant General Paul T. Calvert, FORSCOM Deputy Commanding General. In addition to these esteemed guests, we are pleased to welcome a number of retired general officers, current and former SES, senior executive service, senior non-commissioned officers, representatives of our local communities, as well as families and friends. We also extend a special welcome to the members of the Installation Management Command Directorate Readiness, United States Army Reserve Command, United States Army Forces Command, and the U.S. Army Garrison Fort Liberty Workforce who are joining us for this event. Thank you all for attending. The official party for today's ceremony includes Lieutenant General Jones, Commanding General, United States Army Installation Management Command, and Mr. Patrick Appleman, Installation Management Command Readiness. Please stand as Ms. Tiffany Corwin, IMCOM Director Readiness Human Resources Chief, sings the national anthem and remain standing as the Fort Liberty Garrison Chaplain, Colonel James Foster, shares the invitation.
Present. Arms.
And I ask you to join me in a moment of prayer. Almighty God, you give life and life more abundant. You lift up our heads and fill with hope our hearts. So I give you praise today. Let me thank you, dear God, for sustaining us in the midst of life's storms and going before us as a mighty warrior. God, as King David proclaimed, you prepare our hands for war and our fingers for battle. And Lord God, you make us ready for what comes ahead. So prepare our hearts and our minds as you prepare our hands. Gird us up with courage and strength that rises from within. Help us to find you faithful whenever we call upon you. And God, in this hour, when I call upon you for our next great leader in IMCOM-Readiness, hear my prayer. For Mr. Patrick Appleman, as he takes hold of this great mantle of leadership, I pray that you bless him and give him wisdom beyond his years of experience. Open his eyes to see and his ears to hear. Direct him in the way he should go to prepare us and to keep us always ready for war, though we hope for peace. Protect his family. Guard them from the wiles of the enemy that ever seeks to steal, kill, and destroy. And now, God, for the entire IMCOM team and those specifically focused on our readiness, you know the countless men and women, the hours they devote to doing their very best for the soldiers that we support and the nation that we love. Bless them, dear God, for their sacrifices, for those that they make, and for the labor they endure. May they always be on the mind of our senior leaders like General Jones and Mr. Appleman. And may your wisdom continue to direct us into harmony in the workplace and success in our efforts. Lord, as you've been faithful in the past, I know you'll be faithful in the days ahead. So I humbly call upon you to continue protecting our freedom, our homes, and our Army families. Now, God, bless the rest of this ceremony. Bless the IMCOM team, and God bless America. In your holy name I pray. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, a bouquet of yellow roses is being presented by Mr. Jason Collette to Ms. Karen Appleman. Yellow is the color of new beginnings and symbolizes her arrival as the new First Lady of the Installation Management Command Directorate Readiness. In time, Ms. Appleman's rosebuds will blossom, as will her relationship with the soldiers, civilians, and their families. From ancient times, armies throughout the world have conducted ceremonies to commemorate victories over enemies, honor comrades in arms, and celebrate special occasions as we are today. These ceremonies have added color and pageantry to military life while preserving tradition and inspiring esprit de corps. Today, you will witness a small part of that tradition as the Installation Management Command colors and the responsibility of the United States Army Installation Management Command Directorate Readiness are passed from one leader to another. The assumption of responsibility is a simple traditional event rich with symbolism and heritage. Key to the ceremony is the passing of the Installation Management Command colors. These colors represent not only the lineage and honors of the command, but also the loyalty and unity of its soldiers and civilians. The custodian of the colors is the Installation Management Command Directorate Readiness Command Sergeant Major Michael L. Oliver II. He is the senior enlisted soldier in the Directorate and principal advisor to the Installation Management Command Readiness Directorate. The passing of the Installation Management Command colors symbolizes the transfer of authority to the incoming director. The passing of the colors demonstrates to the soldiers and civilians of the unit that the mantle of leadership has passed to the incoming director. With this also passes the loyalty of the soldiers and civilians to their director. Command Sergeant Major Oliver is now passing the colors to Lieutenant General Jones. Lieutenant General Jones is passing the colors to Mr. Patrick Appleman, the incoming director, charging him with the responsibility of the directorate. Mr. Appleman is passing the colors to Command Sergeant Major Oliver, symbolizing his first official act with the Directorate Command Sergeant Major and his trust in the unit soldiers and civilians, thus completing the assumption of responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General Jones.
These are things that you should do in rehearsal that we didn't do. Color guard, unseat colors. Go ahead. We're going to unseat colors, we're going to rest. We're not going to have you all stand the whole time we're talking.
Go ahead and take it out.
Yep. And you didn't start making it the general. Good afternoon, everybody. I appreciate you all joining us, both folks that are here in person, but also all the IMCOM professionals that are online watching the ceremony today. It is good to be back at Fort Liberty. I was counting, we did the drive from Charlotte to Liberty last night. This is the fourth time, plus a fifth personal visit in the last year that I've been to Liberty. I've been here more times than any place except for Fort Sam, despite ours being responsible for supporting 104 installations around the Army. So maybe it's the center of the universe, because they keep bringing us back again and again and again. Many of you all know how that works. It is an absolute honor to be here today as we welcome Pat Appleman back to IMCOM as our new director for IMCOM-Readiness, and to recognize really just the continuing accomplishments and just incredible work of the IMCOM-Readiness team. A couple of recognitions up front. So, so first, one, I want to welcome you, and on behalf of representing General Pappas, the entire FORSCOM team. But General Calvert is also transitioning here in 2 weeks, right? Next week, after over 35 plus years of service to our nation. Karen, I'd like to welcome you as well. So Karen also serves as a school teacher back in Kentucky, right? Louisiana. Did you say second or third grade? Second grade. So think about that. You know, sometimes when you get frustrated at work, think about having second graders all day. But Karen, thank you. Thank you both for your support to Pat, but also thank you for all the things you do for those young folks you're taking care of and helping develop and educate. Thank you. So I'd like to start off by thanking the IMCOM-Readiness team. Everybody that's here, everybody that's back in headquarters, still working right now, and everybody that's out there online. Just thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for what you do every day to support Army people and our great mission partners, FORSCOM, SOUTHCOM, U.S. Army Reserve Command, and Army Test and Evaluation Command. You're a remarkable group of professionals, and you have dedicated your professional lives to supporting Army quality of life and the readiness of all our mission partners. Chris Ward, a special thank you to you. Thank you for being part of the team, coming back and being a garrison commander and division chief of staff, but thank you for your leadership during this transition and your hard work. The director never broke stride. What did we count today? So August to March, so we're up to 7 months? Sure. 7 months as the acting director. And for those who have been in uniform, you know, as a colonel, acting as an SES2 role, that's tough. That was a lot of rocks he had in his rucksack, and you bore it exceptionally well, and you did a great job. And just thank you for that. Thank you for the hard work and your leadership. The great news is Chris isn't leaving. So Chris is staying as a military deputy, and he's be part of the team that we will round out this summer for the first time in IMCOM history. All 5 directorates will have uniformed military deputies who are former garrison commanders. So they're going to bring their experience to the directorates to help those garrison commanders that are in the seat and all the support they provide to our senior commanders around the Army. I'm really excited about what that's going to do for our entire team. And really for everybody involved in the ceremony, just thank you. Tiffany, where are you? Beautiful. Thank you so much. Chaplain, thank you for the kind words. And for the color guard, who clearly is responsible to the Command Sergeant Major. Commitment, professionalism, hard work to bring a ceremony like this together. It is deeply appreciated and absolutely noted today. So please give me a round of applause for everybody. So starting in July, I have transitioned 3 of our 5 directors between here, where Ms. McCullough left, in Hawaii, back-to-back trips to Hawaii, as we did both the relinquishment and the assumption in IMCOM Pacific, and then Joint Base Langley Eustis last month as Bill Kidd became the director for IMCOM training. So I had a lot of time to think about the role that those senior civilians play for our Army, and our directors play for both our command and in support of all those units and all those senior commanders we support around the country. So leadership to the garrisons and the directorate. It's continuity and expertise on the science of installation management, and there is a lot of science in installation management. And then it's making sure that we, all 60,000 of us, are supporting the priorities of the senior commanders on all 104 installations we support around the world. When I think back, it's been a few years now, when I think back to the time when I was a senior commander, I know that one of the most important relationships I had was with my IMCOM director. I was aligned with IMCOM sustainment, Mr. Dave Tyndall. We talked at least twice a month, and during the really dark days of the pandemic, we talked almost every single day. We made sure that together, we were putting the garrison commanders in positions where they could be successful and support everything that was happening on the installation and everyone that lived and worked there. It was one of the most important relationships that I had as a senior commander, and I think that is one of the most important things that our directors do as those senior civilians, is that relationship with our senior commanders around the Army. It's a complex mission, but has tremendous challenges, but also tremendous opportunities and lasting effects for both our Army and our nation. For the past 30 years, Pat Appleman has demonstrated both the leadership and the expertise to excel in this critical role. It's my pleasure to welcome Pat back to IMCOM as our newest director, with responsibility to lead over 24 garrisons, supporting many of our Army and our nation's most important formations. Ensure those garrison teams support the senior commanders across our core competencies, providing soldier and family programs, maintaining the infrastructure, supporting readiness and deployability, and then delivering base op services. All those things, it takes a large city like Fort Liberty to be able to keep it working across the board. So it's very fitting that we're doing the ceremony today in a museum. You know, a museum's really an opportunity to think and reflect on our history. So I came through the doors today and I was thinking when Second Lieutenant Jones was standing on the field out there in 1994, seems like a long time ago, 30 years ago. So this Saturday is 30 years since the Pope Air Force Base crash, where we lost 23 heroes 30 years ago. September is 30 years since we had the almost jump into Haiti, which would have been the largest airborne assault, one of them since World War II. And all of that we learned as a corps, as a division, as soldiers during that period of time. But those snapshots in history 30 years ago are also filled, as you look around this building right here, this amazing history, decades of history. And it's a reminder to me of what we do and who we support. And it's all of the folks that are serving in their footsteps today and will serve in their footsteps in the future. That's why we exist, to support them, support the families, support the soldiers of life, and soldiers for life, and support Army civilians around it. That's what I think about when I come through the doors of this incredible museum. So when you come to a ceremony like this, whether change of command, change of responsibility, assumption of responsibility, a lot of times I think about the job. You know, you look at the colors and okay, what is the job? What is this person going to do? You read the bio, and then hopefully most of the time you think, wow, the Army got it right. Look at this person's background. Look at this job. It's a match. It is the right leader at the right time for the right job. I'm excited to say, Pat, you are the right leader at the right time for this job right here. There's no doubt about it. Pat's had a career spanning over 30 years, and he's proven his leadership in positions of ever-increasing responsibility across the Department of Defense and really our federal government, given his last job, his sabbatical, which we'll talk about here in a moment. And he's earned the reputation as a highly experienced and respected executive. He just left his sabbatical, which is not a sabbatical, but with NASA, his first senior executive service job, where he was the director of center operations for the John C. Stennis Space Center, which just sounds pretty cool. If you haven't seen his office and the rockets and everything else in there, what a unique experience to have. But he had provided leadership, strategic planning for really the comprehensive, integrated institutional services there for the center. Sounds a heck of a lot like base op services in a lot of ways. Again, building on his expertise and setting conditions to be the right leader at the right time here through IMCOM-Readiness. He was recognized by NASA for his team leadership in achieving effective solutions to some complex problems. We're talking about NASA. Do you imagine when NASA says complex problems, how complex it really must be? Think about that. But also for his communication and his interpersonal skills. Before NASA, as most of you know, Pat was part of the IMCOM team, an IMCOM professional, as both IMCOM training up at JBLE, Chief of Public Works, and the engineer advisor to the director. In that role, supervised public works, integrates base operations in areas all around the TRADOC installations, master planning, logistics, equipment, environment, contract, and acquisition management, just to name a few in terms of what our PW experts do out there. Then he has held before that nearly every job you can hold in a DPW, and has served at Fort Knox, has served at Fort Campbell, and has also deployed to both Bagram as well as Camp Taji in Iraq. Pat's leadership and exceptional performance in DPWs resulted in him being named the William C. Gribble, the DPW Executive of the Year, and an honor that recognizes those leaders who demonstrate excellence in the management and execution of Army Public Works and real property maintenance missions. Back to that science of installation management that our directors bring in support of our senior commanders and leading our team across the board. He's a proven leader who invests in his people, who builds strong teams, and achieves results. Again, the right leader at the right time, the right job. Pat, please know you have my full confidence. I'm excited to have you come back to the IMCOM team. Very excited to put the college in your hand today, and most importantly, I'm very excited to see what you're going to do with the IMCOM-Readiness team and to all those organizations and all those soldiers and all those commands that we support. I look forward to leading with you and to the positive effect you're going to have across our entire command and across the Army. And to the entire IMCOM-Readiness team, again, thank you. Thank you for your service, thank you for your leadership, and thank you for everything you do for all those people who support. To everybody that's here today, thank you for what you do for Army people, supporting their quality of life, and for supporting the readiness of our great Army on 24 installations around the world. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you for sharing this important ceremony in this amazing place, and thank you for what you do. Pat, welcome back. We are the Army's home. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Patrick Appleman.
There's nothing worse than following a great speaker. But I'm going to take your advice that you said Friday, and that is last night after my wife corrected all of the grammar of my speech, she told me to stick to the script. As you did, I will too. Distinguished guests, Command Sergeants Major, and members of the IMCOM-Readiness team, I am thrilled to be in the 82nd Hall of Heroes at Fort Liberty, home of the airborne and affectionately known in the Army as the center of the universe. General Jones, sir, I would like to start by thanking you for your confidence and for entrusting me with this extremely important mission. Sir, I promise I will not let you down. Command Sergeant Major, I will not let you down. General Calvert, welcome, and thank you so much for honoring me with your attendance. The most rewarding assignments of my career have been in direct support of the warfighter. I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be here and in that role again. In my career, I've worked with 24 garrison commanders. At Fort Campbell, I was fortunate to work with the two best garrison commanders in the history of IMCOM. That would be Colonel Joe Kuchin. Sir, thank you for being here today. And Colonel Jeremy Bell, who called me yesterday, had a last-minute snafu, couldn't make it. And when I told him that I was going to mention that they were the two best garrison commanders ever, he told me I couldn't do that. He said, "No, you got to pick, Pat." He says, "You got to pick." You know, that's a pretty tough thing to do because I learned a lot from both guys. They were both great. So last night I did what I always do when I have a really tough question. And that is I call my good buddy, I phone a friend, John Hunter. And when I called John Hunter, I said, "Sir, you got to help me out here. Who was the best, between Kuchin and Bell, who was the best garrison commander in the history of IMCOM?" He said, "Pat, that's easy. John Hunter." I've had the privilege of learning from several great mentors. And perhaps the two most influential in my career are here today. Vince Greenwatch and the aforementioned John Hunter, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your continual influence on my career and my life, and I'm really proud to be a part of your legacy. I would also like to recognize and thank my former deputy at Fort Campbell, who's now the director, Jessica Stonecipher, for making the trip here today. Sir, I gave you an answer and said that one of my old IMCOM buddies really, convinced me to apply for this job and go for it. Well, she says right here. Thank you, Jessica. I would also like to thank the Fort Liberty Garrison for putting today's ceremony on Facebook Live and allowing several of my family members, friends, and sir, this is probably a first, but even my old teammates from NASA have tuned in today to watch me mess up. You know, I told you at one point I have 7 siblings. I'm at the bottom of that group. And what I would like to say to them is everything that General Jones said was 100% true and accurate. Finally, and most importantly, to my beautiful wife, Karen. Karen, I know you're not officially a military spouse, but you sure have played the part by agreeing to move 5 times in the last 8 years to support me in my career. She also prayed me through 2 deployments. Thank you for your unwavering support. Through our 25 years of marriage, I will not be here today without you. I love you very much. You know, today I am truly honored to assume responsibility as the Director of IMCOM-Readiness. United States Army Installation Management Command. In this role, it's my distinct privilege and honor to serve our soldiers, civilians, families in FORSCOM, USARC, ATEC, and SOUTHCOM. I'm very proud to have worked in installation management for the entirety of my 30-year career, I'm not going to say how many, of federal service, other than what General Jones once again today referred to as my 2-year sabbatical at NASA. You know, other than those 2 years, and they were a great 2 years, worked with great people, was an exciting job, but the entire time I was gone, you know, my heart never left IMCOM. And I really desired to come back. And I really appreciate that I now have my opportunity to be here and put my experience and my knowledge to work in this role. In this role, sir, I promise you, General Calvert, I promise you that the entire IDR director will be fierce advocates for senior commanders. I pledge to you 100% of our focus will be to provide and communicate to senior commanders installation management services so they can focus on their warfighting mission. I am truly looking forward to working with and supporting the outstanding IMCOM-Readiness garrison commanders, garrison sergeants major, and the garrison teams as we work to ensure efficient facility management, deliver services to soldiers, families, and civilians, and direct support of senior commanders and their priorities. In my career, I've seen the grit and determination of Army Garrison Command teams succeed against overwhelming odds at every turn. Those wins happen every day at Army installations around the world and across the readiness portfolio. I'm looking forward to being a part of this winning team. In closing, I would like to thank all our distinguished guests, friends, my new teammates, for sharing this great day with Karen and me. As a result of moving so often, we've learned one thing for sure, and that is home is not one place. In fact, what we've learned is that home is wherever the good Lord sends you. At IMCOM, we're the Army's home. I'm here to tell you, sir, it's great to be back home. Sustain, support, and defend. Thank you.
March along, sing a song, we're the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First we fight for the right and to build the nation's might. And the army goes rolling along. How long we have done fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Now up to King's side strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Thank you for your attendance at today's Assumption of Responsibility ceremony. Mr. Patrick Appleman welcomes you to join him for refreshments in the foyer. Thank you for joining us on this historic occasion. Support and defend.